Very well poorly communicated.
Your role is to do as you're told.
That's the problem. Competing orders in two lines.
Anyway, showtime. Okay, just the running order. I'll say a couple of words, then John's pal Imelda will say a couple of words, then, and if anyone else then from the audience would like to say something brief. Brief. You're more than welcome. And then Andy, who's the new executive manager, is make a small presentation to John. So, we all happy enough with this? Yeah. Okay, well this is the first retirement of the modern era. Okay, this is unusual. And I'd like to mention, obviously, welcome John, Maria, his daughter Adele, her partner, and unfortunately John's other daughter, Louise, couldn't make it today. And just to let you know, Maria, when he retires, you get twice the husband with only half the income. So whether you really want him at this stage, I'm not really quite sure. Listen, we would have liked to have had something a bit more for John retiring after 41 years, but with the restrictions in place, that's to be scaled down a bit. But we'll try and make it as sort of as memorable and pleasant as is physically possible. I suppose, John, you're quite unique in you've been in the same place for 41 years, and then you did a year in Mayo County Council. Like, it's unusual for somebody to stay within, and sort of the expertise you bring in is quite unusual. And then obviously you moved up to the ranks quite quickly, and you were chief technician, I think, 2008, I think it was, in and around when they all got it. Some didn't.
When they gave to anyone,
some people were really pissed off they didn't get it now, I have to say.
Did well, John, don't worry.
I suppose, as the thing is, I suppose if you choose the work that you love, you don't really have to work another day, and I suppose that's really applicable to John. Not only was he exceptional at what he did, but he had a very good passion for it, whether it be something like the constructed wetlands in Talca Valley, protecting surface waters, pollution, especially in the Liffey, or in essence the annual junket to the EPA conference, where he contributed significantly to the local economy this year. Well, actually, seek out his money. But, so
we need
yes.
a critical vacancy.
I get on to that bit. Anyway, another little known fact about John that he did have another significant woman in his life, which was the pollution control boat, the Emma, which was named after Emma Brazil, who used to work with us. Now, he would use any excuse to get out of this boat, whether necessary or not necessary. He'd drag anyone out.
It was always necessary.
It was never necessary. And he'd drag anyone out in any rain, you know. And he always said he was qualified to operate this boat. To this day, I'm still not sure this is actually the case. Now, my own best day I ever had at DCC was when John took myself and Olive out in the boat, went up and down the Liffey, over to the wooden bridge, through Dublin Port. I still have no idea why we actually went out. What the excuse was. It was a sunny day. The day was so good I actually took a half day in the afternoon, so not to ruin it, get to Cronin would annoy me in the afternoon. Now, as nice as John is, you know, like he could have a very, very serious side. He could be very set in his ways. Now, Ken and Pat, I know you'll probably remember this one. There was the proposed move to Marrowbone Lane, which John equated to like a move to a Siberian gulag. Okay? There was no way was he moving up. Like, actually hell or high water, and he was really determined. And this dragged on for ages. We were instructed to move up, we wouldn't move up. We instructed to move up, we wouldn't move up. And it was like to and fro for ages. Anyway, some bright spark, and I'm not sure that John's involvement, but I suspect it was quite significant, suggested there'd be a fire audit done at the building. So not only was the fire audit done, what did prevent the move, but it also condemned the building. I'd say the cost of the council could be in the millions. But anyway, well done, John. I particularly want to move myself. As well, John had a great way of dealing with people. He used sort of the carrot and the stick approach. Now, with probably more emphasis on the stick. Now, especially if a developer wasn't playing ball with John, especially in relation to a drainage license or something like that, there really was only ever going to be one winner. And he had a great skill of threatening someone and trying to be helpful at the same time. I still don't know how he did it, but he would actually threaten them and be nice to them. Still. But in fairness, he'd go out of his way to help somebody, but if you cross them, suffer the consequences.
Yeah, right.
You know, it will be difficult to replace John, and due to the recruitment ban, it might actually be impossible. There's three traits that would be most difficult to replace with John. It'd be his knowledge, his professionalism, and his enthusiasm. But really, the show must go on, but we'll be calling you in the next couple of months, I'm sure, over a while, just to pick your brains. And
Christmas party.
I know stuff you have expertise in. Listen, the way we live and the way we work has changed a good bit since around March. And when things go back to normal, I hope John, Maria, and the family get back to doing the stuff that they really like doing, traveling to the States for holidays, traveling to France and wine smuggling, hill walking, attending GA matches and playing cards on a Monday night.
In no particular order.
I don't know if Maria plays cards on Monday night, but anyway, I can see by the state of John on a Tuesday, he definitely. And finally, anyway, I'm just going to finish up here now, from everyone in DCC, and especially everyone in drainage, and specifically from myself, Roy, and Emma, and Richie, and Keith, I wish you a brilliant retirement and a healthy one. And I always say, John, is the best is yet to come.
Thanks.
Okay, where do we start from? I have 2 pages. I have 1 page on 1980 when I first met John. He had been there since 1979 in Castle Street, and it was an old, very tumble down kind of a building. We were on the 4th floor, and I shared an office with John when I joined Dublin City Council. There was a lab in Ringsend at the time, run by Martin Lennon. But we had such fun, and we met. Well, we were working under Kevin O'Donnell, who was the city and county engineer, and he was a very strict looking man, and there was Gary Cremens, who was his deputy, and they were on the ground floor of this building in Castle Street. There was no central heating, and Bill Kavanagh, the porter at the time, used to light fires for these 2 gentlemen, and Mary Johnson was their secretary, and they got tea served and biscuits in the morning.
Don't you love the good old days?
We were up on the top floor, and there was a big hole in the floor on my side of my desk, and it looked like it should be condemned, really. You're talking about fire safety. We had no fire safety in Castle Street at that time, but we met wonderful people, and we met Ken Hand and John Clark. Andy Whelan was the senior engineer at the time, and Padder O'Sullivan and Jerry Doherty and Tony Foy and Maurice O'Connell and Batty White. So we were a small group of people, but best of pals. We met Larry Brassel and Pat, I think, and Tom Leahy and Adrian in Dublin County Council on occasional meetings. We were very allied in our pollution control, and because all of the rivers mainly started in Dublin County Council, we had to go back to the source and be friends with Dublin County Council people in order to improve water quality. So we had a small environmental lab in Ringsend, and it was run by Martin Lennon. He was the technician down there. And we did all of the environmental sampling of the rivers, and we went out on the Liffey Estuary and not quite to Dublin Bay. We couldn't make it in the little dinghy that Martin sailed for us, and John and I used to take the samples and measure the DOs at surface and at depth, which was quite a job. And then the ferry would be coming in and out, and we'd be bobbing up and down sort of 6 feet when this was happening. But our idea of health and safety at the time was to contact the port and docks and let them know we were going out on the day. I don't think we ever let them know we got back.
Never told them we got back.
So then we did lots of work on the rivers, and we drove around. I drove with the cars, but I think it was a Fiat 125, a little red Fiat, and we got to know. We were both fairly new around Dublin. I knew the north side, and John probably knew a little bit more on the south side.
I knew my way out to Croke Park.
Yeah.
Why?
So, but at the time, Clondalkin paper mills was the main source of pollution to the Liffey, and it used to be greyish white on occasions coming down the Cannock, and that song, the Liffey, and it stank like hell. Well, we have fixed that, John. It doesn't stink anymore. Ages ago, you know. But we were both pretty outraged when we first reviewed all the rivers and streams in Dublin, because there was a lot of pollution. And the Water Pollution Act had started maybe 1977, but licensing hadn't begun. There was one license, I think, that Andy Whelan issued to the ASB when we started. So we set off and we tackled all the different kinds of industry. We tackled the big industry like Guinnesses and Batchelors and Cadbury's. It was fascinating to look at how they produced their main products first, and then what effluent came down to the drains and down to the pumping stations and down to the wastewater treatment plant at Ringsend. So we learned an awful lot in those first early years. And we had a small lab in Ringsend, as I said, and suddenly Marrowbone Lane, the building was built sometime earlier, but Kevin O'Donnell's idea was to unify Dublin City Council and Dublin Corporation, the lab end of it anyway. So we were moved up in 1983 to the lab, and Con Hegarty was appointed as senior scientific officer. But all of the monitoring continued. It was just the venue moved from the lab in Ringsend up to Marrowbone Lane. And because we had set up these licenses, suddenly things started looking better in the rivers. Clondalkin paper mills actually closed, so it wasn't completely due to our efforts. But heads of Guinness used to float down the Liffey by times, and that all stopped. And we had about 200 or 300 licenses, I think, by the time when I finished licensing. Now Clarice took over when I stopped doing it. But the license monitoring is still carrying on, so that we have a police kind of situation if the trade effluent gets really out of filter. And we can also measure the loading, which is going to Ringsend, which is most important. So, let me see. The old treatment works at Ringsend, when I started, was very old and of very poor quality. The effluent was desperate, and very often people ask me, why was the effluent worse than the influent? But when it rained and the water was diluted, the sewage was diluted coming into Ringsend, quite often the effluent was worse than the influent. I remember Batty White being very puzzled about this, and he said, you must be doing something wrong there in the lab about the measurement of BODs. However, we also went out in the early days on the sludge boat, which was called the Shamrock Gado, and it was a small green boat, but it carried the waste sludge from the wastewater treatment plant at Ringsend. And I've given Emma some pictures. She asked me for pictures of you, and the only ones I could find were on that particular trip. So, that's 1980. Now, 40 years on.
3 decades to go.
John, you've worked for 41 years in Dublin City Council as it now is, Dublin Corporation as it was, and you ought to be really proud of the work you have done. We were a team of kind of 2 or 3 senior executive engineers and so on in Castle Street, but pollution control was a small section, and it was a small section in Dublin County Council. Now we have hundreds of people working in pollution control and environment. We have the EPA, we have Irish Water, so the whole thing has blossomed in the right direction, and people are much more aware of the environment and expect a high quality environment to live in. So we're now equipped with state-of-the-art IT. We have LIMS in the lab, GIS systems, water quality plans and models, the EPA splash system for bathing water, so that anybody can very quickly find out how their local bathing water is if they want to swim. Our lab is now the largest lab in the country. I'm very proud of that, and we're accredited for all the environmental parameters to ISO 17025, which we maintain every year. The Ringsend plant has been upgraded, Brendan, as you know, umpteen times since. 2 occasions, and there's new tanks going in at the moment. Substantial upgrades have also taken place to our drinking water system and to the distribution system. This is a dynamic field, as we all know, and improvements limited by budgets from Irish Water, but they are happening around the country, and particularly in the Dublin area. So Irish Water are now responsible for the other trade effluents discharging to sewers. We still hold the responsibility for the bigger discharges to waters if the EPA don't have those. Pollution control is still as important today as it was in 1980 because development in Dublin has been huge. Dublin was a much smaller place when we started working, and now it's stretching right out to the county boundaries and into Meath and Kildare and so on. The Water Framework Directive, and Jerry O'Connell and Des are working in this area now. It's the main vehicle for water pollution control. We still do the investigative monitoring work in the local authorities, and I'm trying to keep that, I'm trying to encourage that is increased now in the coming years. It's one of the most challenging areas that John always excelled in. He would follow things back through manholes and stuff that I wouldn't have a clue about in order to find the source of pollution. The essential work hasn't really changed in 40 years, but our response has not changed either. We still do the best we possibly can and do it as fast as we possibly can. John, we're going to miss you amazingly. Thank you for being such a great colleague and a friend over all the years. We wish you and Maria and Louise and Adele and Michael everything good always. Have a long and wonderful retirement from your friends in Central Dublin. Okay?
Thank you very much.
If anyone would like to say a few words, come up now. Otherwise, we'll make the presentation and the check.
I'll go
the
up.
money. Like. Hold on. Pass.
Last minute
Turn
edition.
Cook went to Rose.
I have another word for a movie.
It's okay. This will be short because I'm a man of few words, thankfully. But all the compliments are well merited, all true, and no exaggeration. And as a very lucky senior exec to have worked for 7 short years in pollution control with John, I'd like to express my own personal gratitude, but also gratitude on behalf of the team, certainly those that are left, because boy, there's some job to fill your boots. Emma. Colin touched on a few traits, so made me smile, particularly how difficult John might be, to the best possible causes. And it kind of reminded me of a scale John told me. This was not long into the era of austerity, and some poor party hack had the misfortune of knocking on the front door of Shea Collins, and John went out. I don't know whether it was a Fine Gael punter or
Shane Ross.
Shane Ross. Anyway, when John saw who it was, let him have it, full barrels, full throttle, and launched into, I'm a public servant. You have cut my wages. You have reduced my annual leave. I have to work longer during the week. I've lost privilege days. You've kept me away from my family for over 2 weeks every year.
It wasn't only Shane Ross who got that spiel at the door.
He never came back.
While we're on traits outside of work, I'm not sure how many of the assembled here know, but in John's youth, a long time ago, he was an athlete, and a useful athlete by all accounts. And he got to the Barcelona Olympics.
Did?
I'd say no more. I'll let John fill you in on the rest. In your stellar and extraordinary career, you've seen many changes alluded to by both Imelda and Colin. You've had the Water Pollution Act, you've had the EPA being set up, Irish Water, taking them all on your stride, bar one. You've witnessed the 5 in a row. And again, I suppose, as a mark of the contribution you've made, again, for pollution control, but you've been a representative of Dublin City Council Drainage Division within the organisation, within the region, and on a national scale, again, dealing with the likes of EPA, Irish Water, and any other national body, come to think of it, and you're known throughout. But fairly uniquely, not only have you represented Dublin City Council in the country, but you've represented us on the national stage. And there are very, very few members of staff who get that poison chalice honour. And I'm thinking of a presentation given in Italy, some dealing with maybe the Scottish EPA, wandering around Europe on oil pollution reconnaissance on behalf of the Coast Guard of national significance, just to name but a few.
Forgotten that.
Yeah. So all in all, I wish you the very, very best of luck, John. Long and happy retirement. And thanks for
everything. Hope to see 6 in a row.
Okay, then, if that's it, Andy, will you come up and just do a small presentation, if you don't mind, to John and Maria?
Okay.
You shouldn't.
His favourite colour as well.
How did you know?
Maria.
Oh, thanks very much.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks very much.
He will make an exception.
Don't give him a
Okay. Thanks very much.
Briefly say, first of all, I've been 3 months trying to figure out what the department does, and Imelda has clarified it for me. Thanks, that was a really good history lesson and brief reading for me. And also, I haven't worked closely with John at all, and I suppose that's why we get on quite well. And you know, if you're getting your tray over there each day in the canteen, you see John, he's naturally, one is kind of pulled towards it, because he's a professional, and as people have said, he's lasted the test of time and all that. But most importantly, he's very likable, and I think that's what I take from the fun and the frolics we had here at the desk. So I just wanted to say that for my communications with you, it's been lovely, and I'm sorry to see you go. I know we're losing a huge asset, but isn't it great to be able to go in full of your health? And I want to present you with this and wish you and Maria and the family all very well.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Now the bit you're all waiting for, John, I'd like you to stand up here and say a few words.
Just so you know who I am. See him to this.
That's, yeah.
After what I've heard for the last while, I should have prepared a speech or something. I don't. Anyone who knows me knows I wear my heart on my sleeve and just talk as it is. And I knew that today was going to be hard. I didn't realise it would be just quite as hard as it is. Because when I see this in the middle of a pandemic, I am just overwhelmed. So I have to thank Emma hugely for this, and Roy, and whatever, and Colin. And I'll give a very quick few words. Some of it has been said already. Let's see, where do we start? Right, how did I get there? 81, after 41 years, how did I get here? Okay. It all started with a 4 o'clock train in Ballina on a Sunday. Arrived up in what was the old personnel department up in Angier Street, which I went looking for and asked the guy for Angier Street. He says, no, it's Angier Street. So he sent me down to Angier Street anyway, and they had my paperwork, and they dispatched me off to Castle Street. Now, back in those days, we didn't have Google Maps, and finding my way to 28 Castle Street was a major job. But I got there, and I went up and I was introduced to Gary Cremens, that Imelda mentioned earlier, the Deputy City Engineer. And as you can imagine, he had no idea I was coming to him. So I didn't know who this guy was and where he was going to go. So he sent me up then to the drainage floor, and who did I meet? But John H. Clark and Ken over there. And Ken was the first engineer I ever worked with back in all those years. So myself and Ken go back a long, long time, and we've a lot of respect for each other. Very shortly after that, the three of us were in that one office. I moved upstairs to the fourth floor, and Imelda joined us. In those days, as she said, we had no lifts or elevators, whatever you want to call it. We trundled up the 4 floors. We had no heat, so we had a 2-bar fire was all we had. We used to plug in. And the beauty with a 2-bar fire is, if you've ever had the opportunity to have one, is when you go away for the weekend and you come back on a Monday morning and you plug it in, all the dust that is gathered in the 2 bars over the weekend burns. So you're now sitting there after walking up the 4 floors and you plug in the fire and you're freezing cold and you're smelling burning. So it was a great start it was. So I was there till 1986 when we moved into these offices. We worked in these offices. There was a huge change. There was only 2 blocks, the first 2. All of this was a car park. I used to sit in the car park. And I've been there ever since, and I've never left, except for one particular 6 months, which was like being in a gulag. I was off on a national working group, believe it or not, for PMDS. I thought it would never finish. I could go back to the mothership. I did. I got back to the mothership, and I lost weight. That was back where we are, where I belonged, doing what I love, getting on with the people that I do like. Where's Adrian? He's around here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Adrian used to have a great one. He would say, in 30 seconds, tell me what you do. He would often say that. So I've taken a kind of a slight variation on that, and it says, over the 41 years that I've worked here, what are the 3 things that you're most proud of? So the first one is, I think Imelda was a column alluded to, it was the ICW, the Integrated Constructed Wetland, that got installed out in the Talca Valley with ourselves in cooperation with people from the Parks Department, and that was an outstanding success, and people from all over Ireland come to see it. The second one was the clean-up of the Liffey back in 1980, where 20,000 litres of heavy fuel oil went into the Liffey. Apparently we were so good at that a guy from OSRL, that's the oil spill people in Southampton, came over, and he wrote afterwards that it was textbook clean-up. And the third one, and I say this with a bit of tongue-in-cheek after what's been said earlier, is that for 6 years I have been a thorn in the side of Irish water. That is something to be proud of. Right. So, summing up, finishing up, where are we? What do we do? I've had the most wonderful 40 years. I've also had the most wonderful people that I've worked with. I want to single out Colin for a minute, and not leaving you, Ken. He doesn't realise, where is he? The backing that you've given us, you didn't realise it. If we wanted anything, we went to you, Colin, we got it. And the same with Ken before him, we never wanted for anything in our section. We had great guys, and then we went up to Ronan, Pat, and Adrian. Stuff was signed off. So we were never under any illusion that we weren't appreciated, or we didn't get what we wanted. And that is a huge thing to have. Not everybody has it. After 41 years, do I regret leaving? No. Will I miss it? Absolutely. I'll miss it hugely. It's been part of my life for 41 years. And before I get about mushy sentimental, I'm just going to say thanks every one of you for coming here, making my last 2 or 3 hours in Dublin City Council such memorable hours and such wonderful hours. And the strange thing is, I think when I walk out that door this evening, it'll be my last time walking out as a Dublin City Council employee. And after that, I'm going to be one of them. Or I'm going to be referred to as they out there, or as some people used to call them, the great unwashed. I'll be one of those. So raise your glasses and thank you very much for everything.
Proceedings, but just before we go, a quick thank you to Emma and Roy and the canteen staff for sorting out all of this stuff. It's not easy to do during restrictions. We're trying to limit us to 20 people and all that, so Emma and Roy sorted all this out, and we've managed somehow to get a space over in Darky Kelly's for a few drinks. I'm not really sure about substantial £9 meals or anything like that. But anyway, we'll go over there around 4:30 or 5 o'clock-ish. So we can go. He's got the lump sum.
I've waited 40 minutes.
We're done.
Okay.
Good.